Rate of young women getting sterilized doubled after Roe was overturned. Sophie A. First remembers her reaction to learning that the Supreme Court had overturned Roe v. Wade. She needed to get sterilized. First, 28, said she had always known she doesn't want kids. She also worries about getting pregnant as the result of a sexual assault, then being unable to access abortion services. That's not a crazy concept anymore. I think kids are really fun. I even see kids in my therapy practice. However, I understand that children are a big commitment. In Montana, where First lives, lawmakers have passed several bills to restrict abortion access, which have been tied up in court. After Roe was overturned in June 2022, doctors said a wave of young people, like First, started asking for permanent birth control, like tubal ligations, in which the fallopian tubes are removed, or vasectomies. University of Pittsburgh researcher Jackie Ellison and her co-authors used Trinex, a national record database, to look at how many 18 to 30-year-olds were getting sterilized before and after the ruling. They found sharp increases in both male and female sterilization. Tubal ligations doubled from June 2022 to September 2023, and vasectomies increased over 3 times during that same time, Ellison said. Even with that increase, women are still getting sterilized much more often than men. Vasectomies have leveled off at the new higher rate, while tubal ligations still appear to be increasing. Nelson said she is better equipped. Nelson said she believed she is better equipped to talk them through the process now than she was in the 1990s when she first had a 21-year-old patient ask for sterilization. I wanted to respect her rights, but I also wanted her to consider a number of future scenarios. So I actually made her write an essay, and then she brought it in, jumped through all the hoops, and I tied her tubes. Nelson said she doesn't make patients do that today, but still believes she is responsible for helping patients deeply consider what they're requesting. She schedules time with patients for conversations about the risks and benefits that help her patients make an informed decision about whether to move forward with permanent birth control. Louis King, an assistant professor of obstetrics at Harvard Medical School, who helps lead ACOG's ethics committee, said this. They were scared of the pain, but after she reassured the patient that they'd be under anesthesia and unable to feel pain, they went ahead intrauterine device, a reversible birth control method. Alexis O'Leary, Helena-based OBGYN, Alexis O'Leary said this. I will routinely see patients that have been denied by other people because of, you might want to have kids. In the future, you don't have enough kids. Are you sure you want to do this? It's not reversible. To get a tubal ligation. She asked her doctor for one after having an IUD for about a year. First recalls her male OBGYN asking her to bring in her partner at the time, who was male, and her parents to talk about whether she could get sterilized. I was shocked by that. So First stuck with her IUD, but the uncertainty of abortion rights in Montana persuaded her to ask again. She has found a younger OBGYN who has agreed to sterilize her this year. That's probably one of the quickest ways to stop a sterilization of a young person, is to get the boyfriend and the parents involved. Obviously, because the parents had you, they want you to continue the tradition of having kids again. And then let me ask you this, why even have a boyfriend in the first place? Are you planning on getting married? Are you planning on having a family? Obviously not, but that's the point of getting married, is to have a family. You must know you're part of a family. And that's another thing I want to know. She didn't get into detail about why she was in therapy in the first place. And then you're going to bring up Oh, what if I get pregnant during the result of a sexual assault? I mean, you're saying that as if there's like a perverted man around every corner waiting to rape you. I said this before and I'll say it again. Most men know not to sexually assault women. Corey Alvarez, not an American man, he sexually assaulted a 15-year-old. Don't mix up all men with criminal aliens who rape underage girls. Most of us are not like that. That's just how it's supposed to be. Their parents had them, your parents had you, and then you're supposed to continue the tradition. Shame on you, Sophie A. First. You are selfish. I bet you, Sophie A. First, you could write a whole fucking book about all the material things you could buy, all the vacations you could go to, all the naps you could take, all that stuff. And then give it back to a guy that's supposed to do that, a woman who's supposed to, tie your tube. If you still had to do that, I bet you could. I can only imagine how disappointed the boyfriend must have been, assuming you even told him. I can only imagine he's really disappointed. He may even break up with you. I hope he does. That's a whole nother situation. If your boyfriend wants kids and you're getting this vasectomy, I guess no adopted children either. That wouldn't make any sense. You know what, Sophie? I bet you'll get a dog, though. Okay, fine. I'll concede that even if a young woman who's pregnant doesn't necessarily want to be a mother, I mean, she should still give birth. I mean, because there are a lot of other people who want to be parents. So I encourage every woman to get pregnant. If you want to be a parent or not, keep the baby anyway. If you don't, well, not keep the baby, just have the baby delivered. And if you don't want to be a parent necessarily, like I said, maybe 4 or 5 times already in other videos, the baby will be transported to an adoption agency where someone else will likely want to be a parent and adopt a baby. There's really no need for sterilizations in young people. There's no really need for abortions either, because if young people get pregnant, I mean, the complications with pregnancies happen in older women. So if young women get pregnant and have the baby delivered, whether they want to be the mother or not, like I said before, if they don't want to be the mother, they can have the baby shipped off to an adoption agency where somebody else can take over. Whatever the case may be. Keeping the baby or giving it up for adoption, just have the baby. Yeah, that's basically it. Just have the baby.